Deirdre, thank you for your time this afternoon. To start off with, please can you confirm for us that Eskom has indeed been issued with this notice from the Department of Environmental Affairs?
Okay, good afternoon. Yes, it is correct that Eskom has been issued with a compliance notice. We received a compliance notice from the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment on the 10th of December.
Right, so it has been issued for illegal emissions and environmental non-compliance. Break that down for us. What exactly does that mean, and what has Eskom either been doing or not doing that it shouldn't be doing?
Yeah, so the compliance notice is for non-compliance to our atmospheric emission license. And I think it has been widely reported in the news that we have been having problems at Kendal Power Station with regards to emissions. Mm-hmm. Our issues started with Kendal as early as January 2018. While we were making good progress on addressing the emissions in the first half of 2018, we then had a strike in June and then followed by another strike in August. Now, during those strikes, there were very, very few people on site to operate the plant. And you need people on site to make sure that you can evacuate the ash out of the plant and take it to the ashing facility. If you don't do that, then what you get is ash going back into the plant and damaging some of the dust handling plant and the what we call the electrostatic precipitators, which is the technology which captures the ash and makes sure that it doesn't go into the atmosphere, but rather down the plant and out through the ash handling plant to the ashing facility. So we usually, in a normal circumstance, we would take a load loss on the plant and see if we can manage the ash with a load loss. But in this situation, we had lost a lot of units on the system, and Kendal was basically keeping the system stable. So they didn't switch the Kendal units off; they carried on operating them, and that caused significant damage, especially to units 5 and 6. So Eskom then introduced a program subsequent to that to reduce emissions, and we have had certain successes and certain failures in reducing the particular emissions at the plant. But since June this year, we've had a significant reduction in the emissions, but we still haven't managed to comply with the 100 milligram limit that we're required to comply with in terms of our atmospheric emission license. We have given some plans to the authorities on what we had planned to do, and we've met some of those plans, but not all of them. And I think the authorities have got to the point where they've decided that they needed to issue a compliance notice because we weren't making the progress, satisfactory progress on the emission reductions.
Deirdre, so while you are making strides to address the issue, given that this notice has been issued, do you know whether Eskom is planning to go to court to stop units 1 and 5 from being shut down before the 9th of January next year? What is the alternative?
So what we're doing currently is we've been liaising with our legal team just to see what our various options are, and we will engage with the Department of Environmental Affairs. In terms of the notice that was issued to us, they do provide an opportunity for us to engage with the Department of Environmental Affairs, the Director General. So we will be engaging with the department and obviously continue with all the efforts to reduce the emissions and do our best to get the emissions operating within the limits.
So apart from the ongoing legal proceedings around this issue, there is also a severe impact on consumers. Should units 1 and 5 be shut down on the 9th of January, that would result in a 1,200 megawatt loss of power. And all of us know that that can ill be afforded.
Yes, if we historically January is a very tough month in terms of the supply of electricity, and I think everyone knows, our first experience of load shedding was in January 2008, if I recall correctly. So it is a period that's very difficult for Eskom, and every effort needs to be made to make sure that we've got all of the units operating that we need to. So if we lose these 2 units, it would have a significant impact on our ability to meet the demand.
All right, thank you very much for that information. Deirdre Harps, Environmental Officer for Eskom.